Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the TB&J podcast. We are doing it on the road today. We did a live watch of The Boys finale, season 3.
Fun alley.
I got Troy here with me, as always.
And I had fun.
And I got Dee with me here, as always.
And I had an alley.
And his wife, we refer to affectionately as the female.
Hey.
And we're all here, and we're all kind of queer. Let's just go with the podcast.
Yeah!
Kind of.
TB&J!
I love us.
By 80 standards, you're queer, right?
Yeah.
You'd be the cute.
TB&J!
You're the ear?
You know what's fun, as the audio guy, is when you guys tap on the table. It's my favorite thing.
Great laugh. Yeah.
So, thank you. We just saw the last episode of season 3 of The Boys, which if I was
Also known as a fun alley.
also known as a fun alley, and if I was better at my job, I would know the name of the episode. But
It's
like,
called Payback. No, that was another episode. This is called...
Herogasm.
no, it's not called Herogasm.
It's called In the Moment
Boys.
of Our Death. When it's like the name. It's like that Fiona Apple album that's like a paragraph long.
Yeah, like all the episodes,
When
like
the Pawn.
all the episode names are like long this season. It seems like, which
Yeah,
I mean,
the first one was Payback. It was so long.
It's called The Instant White Hot something. I can't get the page to
real?
load. The Instant White Hot Wild. That's what the episode's called. Yeah.
I understand that.
Instant White Hot Wild.
Yeah.
That just sounds like somebody wanted to name something that at one point I was like, I'm gonna do it. Here is my moment.
Yeah. I mean, they could have.
They're not going to care what the episode's called. They're going to all fight each other in the
No.
tower. It's going to be great.
Nobody cares what the episodes are called. They just know that this is the 8th one. Like even on Amazon, it's like
If
episode
you care
1,
what
2,
it's
3,
called,
4.
comment.
Yeah, go ahead.
Email
So,
in.
as Troy just alluded to, this episode just has showdowns left and right, and it is the culmination of a lot of brewing things that happened throughout the course of the season. Show of hands, who thought Black Noir was going to die?
Audio only.
That's true. It's
Everybody's
an
hands
audio-only
are up.
format.
If
We're
to
going with
everybody,
yay.
Yeah, it's thumb. We go thumbs up. Thumbs
Oh, thumbs up, thumbs down.
It's a thumbs way up.
Way the
his
fuck
butt,
up.
Way
Yeah.
up his ass.
Ooh.
Like it is.
Yeah, but who thought it was going to be Homelander? Oh, spoiler alert.
I mean, if you're listening to this podcast, you've seen the
we
episode.
only do spoiler casts.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a non-spoiler TB&J podcast.
I mean, if you're a new listener,
if you discovered this, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Idiot?
who pointed you down here? You should not be friends with them anymore. No, but hope Black Noir gets Black Noir gets absolutely fucking wrecked by Homelander.
fucking love it.
Rips his intestines
sweet.
out, and is just bleeding out on the ground.
So okay, we got to talk about probably my favorite. Like I had at least 3 out loud like bust.
Oh yeah.
laughing
There was a lot of laughing in this episode.
And one particular is the squirrel descending into his
Beaver.
eye.
But yeah.
Beaver descending into his eye as he dies. And the last words before that, he was like, "Soon you'll be with Jesus Christ." It's just like
Christ the Lord.
I love the last second, like, fuck you to Christianity.
Yeah.
I appreciated that.
And I love that he stutters too.
Crazy person is saying this,
I
by the
assume
way.
everyone watching The Boys is okay with the blasphemy.
So they're not.
There's got to be one person.
You don't.
We all worship
Wait.
the spaghetti monster.
You're not on the podcast very often, so I'll tell you. And for those of you listening who aren't super familiar, there's a large section of the Boys fan base that is very right wing, and they think that this show is not making fun of them at all, but it's making fun of the lefties.
Ooh, I love that for us.
This
Wait,
episode really didn't help that.
No.
if you haven't gotten there, please do.
Yeah,
Please jump off a bridge.
sure.
What are we telling people?
Well, I don't want to tell people to jump off a bridge. I don't want that to be the
Don't
message
jump
of my
off
show.
Mentally jump off a bridge.
Sure.
Emotionally jump off a
But
bridge.
this season actually particularly got review bombed. This season got review bombed by righties that thought they were getting made fun of. And they were like, why is this show taking a weird political turn?
The second one.
They literally didn't get it.
Keep your politics out of the show. It's so good before it got political. What the fuck is wrong with you?
It's like when I was in high school and someone was like, why is Rage Against the Machine getting all political all of a sudden? And I'm just like, you fucking idiot.
The second season had review bombs too, when people were just like, and out of nowhere, suddenly Stormfront's a Nazi.
Suddenly.
Those are real things that happened.
Yeah, this actually, that was a thing.
Yeah.
People hated people.
there were people who could control electricity. Like, that happened.
That
Yeah.
did happen. Actually, The Boys is a documentary.
Thomas Edison was actually a. Thomas Edison was a
Tesla
pioneer.
was the original Starlight.
Oh.
It's gospel. It's gospel.
He looked good in the boots.
And that's canon. We'll be right back.
Sorry, guys. I'm so sorry.
All right, so show.
Men. I'm sorry, men.
Yeah,
just kidding.
doesn't matter. What was your favorite fight, Troy? Let's start with you. Was it Homelander Maeve? Was it Soldier Boy v et al? Was it Kimiko versus armed guards?
I mean, I do love everything Kimiko does.
Kimiko might have been my favorite just because she's listening to Maniac in her AirPods as it's going, and she's doing like the dance as they're like getting ready to storm the room, and then she just like jumps on him.
To Maniac.
And she's like beating the guy on the ground in
To the
time
beat,
to the beat.
yeah.
It's gonna be a weird
doesn't join
explanation, but I feel like I was all about Maeve and Homelander only because of the filing cabinet punch.
Oh yeah, I love fight scenes that happen in buildings, rather than these like super choreographed Marvel fights that happen like outside.
Oh, way
It's
to
like,
take my point that I made during the show.
yeah, exactly.
But now
these
he's
like
stealing it. You said
the grandiose fights like in an airport, and it's like that's not really why are you guys just meeting in an airport? Why isn't somebody just like surprising the other and gacking you? Like I don't understand.
Well, it makes sense because that's a bigger stage, right? And you have the wide open for the CGI effects and stuff like that. And
Sure.
people fly in more dynamic things, but it forces you to. The enclosed space allows you to do it low budget. Like this is what I was saying is like if you really think about it, like either Homelander is the dummy's dummy and not just like grabbing somebody and pulling them into the sky and dropping them, like or. He should be able to win any fight that he's in. And what happened to his like super fly to Soldier Boy? Like why not use that missile move like at any given point during this fight? So it really the enclosed spaces I think are cool because I've always loved those because you get to like break walls and shit and like use the drawer to fight. But at the same token, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
I wonder if like that's a conscious like pullback on Homelander's part. The way like Spider-Man in the comics pulls his punches because he's so fucking strong.
Yeah, because he's so emotive and thinking of like pulling his punches.
No, it's not that. They had the end of the last season was the female fight, right? And it was outside.
Yes,
And
girls get it done.
Girls get it done. That wasn't crazy dynamic, but it was amazing, and it was outside. So I'm not sure I understand your guys' point completely because I watched a fight outside in a completely desolate area of like grass, and they still got a great fight scene in. It could be just done well in this series, and I think we can just see things done well.
Yeah.
I think the best fight is
I was on board.
That's how this month feels. This month feels like everyone's laughing at
Fucking
us.
tell me about it.
Yeah. Plot twist. Females are still fun. So
We'll be right back.
They've always been fun. They're
Somebody
just
needs
not
to take that away
respected.
from you.
exactly. So, but
This is the worst you've ever been.
yeah,
It's
someone
'cause
take
he's
the
drinking.
iPad.
He's sharing a mic.
And he's sharing. He has other
It's
responsibilities.
hard for a man to share, Mike.
I'm used to having my own.
He is.
I meant that euphemistically.
He doesn't like sharing his toys.
Yeah. So, okay. First of all, I am the only thing. If we're going to talk positives. I feel like the rest of the podcast. I feel like the only negative I have coming out of this episode is that Maeve either. I could be wrong, and there's a future, obviously, season ahead. I'm not sure why Maeve is still alive. It would have been amazing if she
It would have
died.
been better if she had died, and that would have been
Right
nice.
now, it feels like she should have been. She should have died. Right now, it feels like she should have died. And that's the part of the episode that I'm left wondering.
She wants to kill more female characters, and I don't really get it. Why?
That's not very inclusive of you.
I don't want to kill female characters. I think a heroic end to anyone is great. I'm saying that, like, the only thing that left me go, really? Like, unless they bring back Noir from his gut-wrenching fucking...
You two seem to be convinced he's still alive. I'm absolutely not.
No. When you said as soon as you said this, you reminded me of the beaver. Like drift. Like no, I don't want to take that death away from no character who has an amazing death scene, the best death scene I've ever seen, should ever have to come back from that. Like, that is
And now he's with
perfect.
Christ the Lord.
He's with Christ the Lord now. I loved that moment. My favorite. What was the other moment? That might be my favorite. It's the most standout for me. But what...
You laughed out loud, I think, when Homelander was like exercising his big dick energy power and just made Ashley take off her wig and show that she's clearly bald from ripping her hair out in stress.
That. I was kind of shocked by it, but it wasn't...
You laughed.
Okay,
You definitely laughed.
All right. That was more of that wasn't like more of like a chuckle.
That was an
It more
absurd
an
laugh.
appreciation laugh.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. It's just
As far as other laugh out loud scenes,
it
something
was
Soldier Boy did.
It was probably Maeve insulting Huey again.
yes.
you. What did she say? She's like, you look like you're always wearing
know
a sign that
Troy's
says,
here.
"I'm a fucking bottom," or something
I'm in the
like that.
title, damn it.
Yeah, well,
She was asking him, like, why do you always look like?
no, she didn't. She like introduced him as. It's so much worse. It wasn't a hello. Actually, it could be the best hello I've ever heard.
Could be.
I thought she was just like, why do you always look like? I thought she said that. I thought it was a question like that.
Yeah.
Why do you always look like?
Always look like. We have to get
It's
the
just a you.
script.
Yeah.
That is-
I don't know if the script is available
Get
yet.
Eric
but...
Kripke on the podcast.
Yeah, if I could get Eric Kripke on the fucking podcast, you bet your fucking
You
ass I
probably
would.
should, really. It's kind of your responsibility.
Fuck. This isn't related to the episode. Eric Kripke and the boys were doing press in Brazil this week, and there's an alley called Batman Alley where they had beautiful murals of Batman. They repainted over it with beautiful murals of the boys, and the whole cast like signed it. And at first I was like, but Batman Alley. But then at the same time I'm like, but the boys. They deserve this.
Well, it's because it's Fun Alley.
Yes, it's Fun Alley.
Jeff,
Agree
what
with
was your
Jeff.
favorite fight scene?
Oh, fucking shit. The Soldier Boy fight was amazing. Because, so the whole episode, Soldier Boy's going back and forth. We don't know what side he's on. We don't know if he's actually going to kill Homelander, given the chance, now that he knows Homelander is his son. And he has this heart-to-heart with Butcher, where he says that all he ever wanted was, like, a family, and for him to live on. And Butcher's trying to cover his ass, and he's just like, but he's not your son. He was raised in a test tube. And he's like, but he's still my blood. And he's just like, no, he's not. Blood doesn't matter. And then they get to the final fight, and Homelander pulls out Ryan, who's just eager as shit to jump into Homelander's loving arms after getting the cold shoulder from Butcher in episode, 2?
Well, this is what
3?
I wanted to say, is that the best scene, character-wise, was Homelander talking to the son. And with you know...
The opening.
Being absolutely genuine.
Being absolutely, like, I will, like, because he's just telling him what...
Not Homelander.
Yes.
Yes,
Homelander
in
to
the beginning.
Child, in the very beginning, when he gets the boy, and he says, I will love you forever, and he's sitting there saying...
The boy?
Ryan.
He says it to Ryan. Homelander says it to Ryan.
Did we watch the same
on the-
episode?
Oh, no, that might be alcohol.
Was this
speaking.
necessary to interrupt?
Homelander
Okay.
is not Soldier Boy, and now my mind is right.
The point was that scene was by far by my favorite, because he's literally just telling him what he has always wanted to hear.
Exactly.
Which is like, I will always love you. Like, someone will always love you. And it is what he needs to hear at that moment too. And it makes it so genuine, because
Ryan, not Huey.
Homelander believes it, but at the same time, he is clearly bringing this kid here as a bargaining, as a shield, right?
Yeah,
I'm not
it's a
wrong
power
here.
move
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, it's a power move. He is.
It's like an insurance.
He's less in the moment. If you recall, he is less trying to use him as a shield and more using him as like a way to turn over Soldier Boy to
Exactly.
him and join them. So it is.
You want a family? You've got a son and a grandson.
That
He's
does
like-
make sense.
He like is pulling for leverage, but at the same time, he's like, "This is a good excuse to go out and do something with my boy." Like,
Right. No, right, 100%.
Yeah.
And I loved how they used his powers in this. I like that she was like reaching for her phone to say stuff, and he's like, I can hear. Like, I love how they've done his powers a lot this season.
Yes.
So Starlight.
What about her?
right?
Starlight
Mm-hmm.
is my Starlight.
Were you making the point or just rambling?
So Huey
Mm-hmm.
Huey goes on and Thank you. Instead of taking Compound V, Huey ups the
He ups the
voltage,
lights
right?
in the newsroom to give Starlight more power. Yeah.
Yes. So that was a nice way for the boys to say, "Oh, you don't have to be the hero. You can help the female be the hero."
We don't need superpowers to save the day. I think that's more the point.
Well, that is
She said it exactly.
I mean, you had a good point as well. Yes.
no. I think we all did. No. I think there's both. I think the way they did the female hero dynamic and allowing Maeve to be the hero is amazing. The way they do generational curses, right? So with Butcher and his dad. No, with Butcher and his dad, he's falling into the drinking, throwing everyone away, and then
I thought you meant like calling people like derogatory terms from like olden days.
Oh.
I'm talking
Like old curses, like old curses. Is that what you said?
this entire season. It's about
generational curses, and I'm like, oh, like
This entire season is about generational curses.
Yes, I agree.
Right,
I
like-
agree with you. I know where you're coming from.
like old school racism terms, like
no, generational curses.
No, he okay.
Yeah, no, I understand that you're talking about olden times, but I'm saying like, obviously, is trying to do it the healthy way.
Yes.
And expose his child to who he is and what happened in the past.
another great scene between Frenchie and him.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely.
100%. Frenchie's arc this season has been glorious.
Absolutely.
From the imp.
I'm so
From the
fucking
imp to
glad
the
he
non-imp.
survived.
I'm amazed he's alive.
I
But
couldn't
Yeah.
believe
Nobody fucking died except Black Noir. Maybe the person who died is the person with the
wait,
supposedly
time out.
strongest
Think of it this
healing
way.
factor.
Think of it this way. If Noir dies, all of the cartoons also die.
Yeah.
So actually, there
this
was
is my
like
thought.
15 deaths.
This is the thing. It's like I don't. This is the other thing. Is like while I don't want to take that death away from him, it's at the same token where I was like, guy got stabbed in the brain before. Like I mean, like
Got
there's
blown
no
up.
way that like ripping his small intestines out is a big deal for him. It feels like that would just. I don't get
He
it.
was bleeding out, and it's hard to recover from your intestines being outside your body. I'm not
Yeah.
saying it's impossible.
I'm saying if he
but
had medical
I don't,
treatment immediately.
I don't see it happening. I don't see it
He's
happening.
not wrong. I see both points, and I think they could.
There was a big theory.
Soldier Boy ripped his head off and stabbed it. At least that's what the cartoon version of it depicted. Am I wrong?
I don't think that's.
Last week?
I think
That's
he
what
put
they
his head on the thing. I don't think he.
Yeah, he burned
ripped
his
it
head
off.
on the
Oh
engine.
no! He ripped.
He put metal into his
exposed
head.
his brain and like.
Well, yeah,
stabbed it.
that he did. I thought you said he ripped his head off.
And this is and it was the thing to like be like, oh, this is why he's so fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Like he has severe brain damage, or he can be injured.
Well, that's
maybe
why he
permanently.
can't talk, right?
He can't really
Sure.
talk. He probably can't use that section of his brain. He's cartoon character. He's fucking insane.
Yeah.
Draws like a.
He writes like a child in like his bad lettering and misspelling.
And I do understand and agree with you to a certain extent because it's like because it's Homelander, they could have 100% killed him in a way where you're like, yeah, he's dead.
No, I totally agree with you.
And I think it leads credence to my other theory, which is that I think they bring Black Noir back, but with the comic book storyline now in play.
Boys?
Yeah, do you know the comic
Yeah,
book
so-
storyline?
I'm
We've
assuming.
spoiled it for everybody.
We've spoiled it for everybody. So in the comics, Black Noir is actually a clone of Homelander.
Yeah,
and
he's always covered, and
he's the one who kills Homelander in the comics.
the real Homelander is not really as evil as all that is. It's that one who's doing all of it, and
blaming Homelander
and
for
blaming
it.
Homelander for it.
Fucking wild. All right, I love that.
It's a crazy wild, and he ends up like ripping Homelander apart, and like his torso gets dragged by an airplane or some shit. Like it's incredibly graphic. But yeah, it's Black Noir is like a clone of Homelander. He was considered like the contingency plan.
When I was in
Clonelander.
Clonelander.
when I was in Disneyland last week, and there was a
Brag about
black superhero character in the park. Dee asked me who was the character with the long line, and I said it was
A-Train.
A-Train, and
Oh no, she's. I don't know where she's telling the story because it doesn't make it. Yeah, there was. Oh, I thought you mixed up the picture, the Miles Morales.
No.
Okay,
the Homelander being Black Noir.
I told them about this. Was that like it is literally there's like characters out there and it's Captain Falcon in that garb and it's like that character and she's like and it's blue and there's no wings on it and it's like.
He's wearing
and he has the goggles, and I'm like, and I look over, and she's like, "Who is that?" I'm like, "Oh, it's." And literally at the same time that I'm thinking it, she says, "Is A-Train?" And I'm like, "Yep, yep." And I'm like, "It's A-Train." I was like, literally thinking.
But
A-Train.
also, what if there was a Disneyland but for the boys and for adults?
That would
only?
never happen.
Well, they
Funny
have
enough,
Vaultland or something like that in the show, don't they? Or whatever the
I would go
seven,
in a heartbeat.
yeah, they
That-
went
if
there
they-
in the
Yeah,
episode.
what was it called? It was like seven.
Oh,
No, I think it was
would be like
Seven
a
Kingdoms
Gwar
or something.
show. It would be like a Gwar show. Just this, like I said, it would be like a Gallagher show, but like just you like bring your tarp.
All I want to say is that like I think this could be an adult like absolute amusement park of debauchery and ridiculousness.
Have a
A
bunch of like
Westworld, if you will.
have a bunch
Sure,
of like fake
sure.
mascots around that just like explode.
Yes,
Like the
or
one
you
mascot.
shoot them or anything, anything violent.
Yeah.
America's ready for this.
Kill real
a-
humans.
Oh, like a combination of like Disney, Marvel, and like a haunted hayride.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get anybody in the world to agree to that. So
So the vice president is
Bezos
the
has
lady
the
that
money.
blows the heads off.
yeah, so the vice president, back to the boys. The vice presidential candidate is now Newman because Newman. It's revealed in the last episode that paper that she gave Homelander was Ryan's address so that he could find him. And what she wanted in return was for the VP candidate for Dakota Bob to get disappear, if you will.
And the drown and deep.
Yeah, he made the
that
Deep
note.
do it, and the Deep was like, "But isn't that like treason?" And Homelander just looks at him, and he's like,
Oh, such
"Yes, sir."
big words.
Yeah, big words. Like Homelander clearly just like calls him on it, and he's such a fucking cuck boy. He's just like, "Yes, sir. Whatever you want, sir."
Yeah.
I just fucking.
I mean, I don't know what else.
I like
to
that character though.
I love the Deep's character.
We didn't see A Train after
Nope.
he the fucking ridiculous scene where Homelander's just like, "Fuck all of you, I hate you. I can replace all of
You're
you.
not my family.
You're not my family.
Right.
I want you to know that."
All of you don't create the sum of Noir.
Yeah,
and he
he-
killed Noir by grabbing his gun.
Yeah, he had that scene. He comes into the room and puts Noir's helmet on the table, and Deep's still so fucking stupid. He's like, "Is everything okay with Noir?" And he's like, "No, I killed him because he lied to me, and I thought all of you were my family, but you're nothing." And then he orders the Deep to go kill the VP candidate. He orders Ashley to take off her wig and reveal her hair being all gone because she's been pulling it out because she's stressed. He fucking rips A-Train a new asshole, and then he's just like, "All of you are fucking nothing. I am everything, and I don't need any of you." And then he just kind of leaves, and that leaves A-Train's loyalties completely up because A-Train, as much as he wants to be part of this world, he doesn't have a particular loyalty to Homelander. I think.
That
And
was
also
the,
evidently Ashley.
wait, say that again.
I feel like A-Train's loyalties are kind of up in the air going into season 4.
Yeah.
Because he's never been particularly loyal to Homelander,
Not at
but
all.
he is loyal to the money, always has been. And now that he's getting things back with his new heart, he might stay in the 7 and stay at Vought. But I don't think he's going to necessarily like Homelander. I think he might maybe help the boys in one form or another. Because the boys have always had like their inside man in the 7. It was Annie, it was Maeve, and now that both of them are out of the 7, it could be A-Train.
Yep.
I understand that.
I don't know that it will be.
The redhead, it's Homelander's right hand.
Ashley, she's the CEO of Vought
So
now.
when she
We also
was-
haven't seen Edgar in a hot minute.
when she was embarrassed by taking the wig off and then deleted Maeve's video, that is a direct result, right?
Yeah,
So,
she's always been afraid of Homelander and always hated him, but her fear overtakes her hatred, and she just does what he says because she's so fucking afraid of him.
I get that.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
like, he keeps fucking over people and doesn't realize that by not putting her inclusive, even though she gave up basically everything for him, because of those 3,
Yeah,
Ashley has been, I feel like, the most loyal.
yeah,
And putting her and embarrassing her by her physical appearance, not by her merit, which
Yeah.
both of the other 2 have done. But, you know, the common denominator with females is that if you're not beautiful or something's physically wrong with you, you're worthless. I'm saying that
actually don't think that's the case.
I actually do.
I don't think that's
by
right.
grabbing the mic, you
Yes, we have to share a mic. We're allowed to have
That's-
interaction. And
that
I
is
need to
how
have
it
the
works.
mic. So here's the thing. I'm calling out on the fact that that's not what they were presenting. They were presenting a she's a mess inside. She's not put together. She's not that. She's fucking pulling her hair out. It wasn't about her physical appearance. It was about her.
Deep is getting blown by a squid.
He was pointing out the severe flaws in all of their characters and beings. A-Train's was about the fact that he fucking killed
Blue Hawk.
Blue Hawk and fucking is a more or less a traitor. The other one is a fucking liability with him fucking Fish, and you're a fucking liability because you're a fucking mental case. That's what he was pointing out. She looks like the standard crazy person. Everything in that indication was to show that she is nuts and losing her mind, not that she's physically unattractive.
Yes.
I disagree on that,
I'm on
and-
D side. Sorry.
I'm not, and I think that there was a clear point.
Surprise.
It was.
I agree with Jeff.
I think that it was
I think the show
a
is a
mental
little
thing, but I think it doesn't not include that stuff as well.
possibly, but I think the show is a little too aware and especially of itself to
Well, I would
do
argue-
that.
It's
Like,
not aware. It is aware enough to say that she will still undermine Homelander, because if he's going to go that low, and make her take off her wig, she's going to delete the video of Maeve. And where women have women is the fucking point. And you're fucking wrong, is what I'm going to say.
I won't get angry about it.
Just say you're wrong.
Don't get hysterical.
Jesus.
I'm sorry, that was a bad joke.
No, it was a good diffusion.
But like, no, we can both be right in the sense of like, I see what you're saying. Like,
Yeah.
it is an added feature to it to like to dismiss her. But the thing is that it's so easy to her cloak is just that. This was another instance of him using his powers again to be like, I see through your shit. He did the same thing with Noir. He was literally seeing through people.
Yeah.
He's literally seeing do that, which is interesting for the character because this is probably Homelander's most like intelligent like manner as he was like going through, and then the fucking ending when he fucking just kills the Starlight fan.
Yeah.
This
all the way at the end,
and then stepdad fucking cheers.
What's his name? Todd or something?
Yeah, Todd is the stepdad.
Kyle, whatever the fuck they name.
Yeah, so there's
he was cast well because
there's these two crowds
I
outside.
hate him so much.
Yeah.
He's like, I want him to be die more than Homelander.
There's the two crowds.
He's the final season.
Now.
They kill Homelander, and then they have one more season where they just beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, there's the two crowds outside of Vought Tower. It's like the Stormfront people that are siding with Homelander, and then there's the other side that are believing Starlight. And Homelander comes down at the very end, and he introduces the crowd to Ryan. And one of the Starlight people throws a can and it hits Ryan, and the crowd parts, and it's just a straight line.
Like an empty can.
Yeah,
Like, it
yeah.
didn't do
Yeah, at first I thought it was like a gas or something, but like
No, it was just a-
you
it
know
was
what
just
I
a
mean?
soda
I thought
can.
Right, it was just nothing.
And the
He
crowd
just
parts
blows
to show a direct line to this guy, and Homelander just lasers his head in half. It just takes the top of his head off. It's just gone.
And at first you might think that this guy, the stepdad, is gonna like be like, oh fuck, this is too much.
It looks like
They
in
give
his
you that
eyes,
redirect.
he
They give
has
you that
that moment
redirect.
where he's like, holy shit, this guy is a monster, but if I cheer for the monster, he won't laser me.
I don't think that was the
No,
case.
no,
I
no,
think
no,
it
no,
was
no.
they gave some.
Yeah, I think he just sucks.
I said it, and then I was like,
they
no,
took
it's not.
away Roe v. Wade. If you cheer loud enough, it doesn't hurt. I'm like, literally, it's you eat yourself.
They
Like,
didn't.
If you believe into a lie enough, you eat yourself.
Excuse me. So let me explain this to you in man words, okay? So Roe v. Wade was an unconstitutional thing. They gave the power back to the states, okay?
That was me opening an adult
If
beverage
the state
for
legislature
females
doesn't want it, they
You know,
shouldn't be
we-
forced to
we
have
had,
it.
We had the Batman
And
podcast.
every
We-
state is a different country, and every country should just die.
There's a yeah.
And the countries that make money allow abortions, and the countries that don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
So
needs to be a louder drop.
well, I had the thing turned down a little bit
you did.
because I
Anywho. No.
Yes.
This. What I wanted to jump back to some of the big themes of this.
Please do.
In this episode and the season in general, because the whole Huey thing is exactly it. Like him supporting her and not being, but his whole speech when he apologizes. Thankfully, saying everything correctly in exactly the right order.
yeah.
Like as she picks him up after Butcher knocked him out, saying that like I didn't know what true strength was. And he tells a story about his dad being there and just being there to support them, even if you hated it, even if you didn't like
Exactly.
just doing and everything he says. When he said it all, it got to the point where I was like, I looked at Starlight and her reaction, and I was like, man, she might have to be like I thought this would almost be like the Huey A-Train scene from Herogasm, where he apologizes and says all the things. He's like, fuck, god damn it, I wanted to be mad at you, but you said everything I needed to hear.
Well, at the end, he does do that because he's just like, do you want to say I told you so? And she's like, fucking, I told you so. And he's like, did that feel good? She's like, oh, it felt so fucking good.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying, in the correct order. Then he, it was just, it was obviously written that way.
Yeah, of course.
But it's supposed to, and this
No,
is what
actually,
I love,
Boys is all improv.
even though you have this cynicism in the show and the satire of it. Or let me backtrack back. A satire of it, it doesn't have the cynicism.
Yes.
What I think we latch onto this show is that it does have that, which I don't know if the comic book ever had that ethos to it, but this does have an ethos to say that there are clear messages to it, because so much of this has been They kind of turned it because they moved away a little bit. Now we could talk about Butcher storyline, but the whether or not becoming as bad as your enemies is the way to go, right? And I guess in the end they land on no, because he doesn't go through with the killing because he wants to save Ryan, and Huey, so he doesn't become the monster. So they are, I guess, essentially the show does get to the point of you got to pull back. You have to pull back, and you can't become the thing. You can't scorch Earth, which is what.
By the way,
right, which is we're now discussed.
The boys' Twitter account.
But we agreed that's the ethos of the show. That's what it said.
The boys' Twitter account, their bio says Scorched Earf, but it's EARF, and it's fucking hilarious. I fucking love the boys' Twitter account. Whoever's doing their social media is just a fucking legend. I do want to say that I was very upset that it seemed like Butcher was just going to drag Huey down with him at the end of the last episode. And at the last episode of the podcast that you were unfortunately not there for, D, I expressed my sorrow. And then this episode, when he has that moment in the gas station where he's like, "You really are the spitting image of my little brother," and then just fucking clocks him and locks him in the bathroom. And I was like, yes, I was right. I'm so happy.
It was. I do agree. I think that'll play better in a binge. But I just didn't. Maybe I wasn't paying attention enough at the beginning of those scenes to read it, because he does say that, and he does say that oh, you're the spitting image of my brother, and they did play that the last episode that up, but it not being an issue. It didn't. I didn't read the earlier scene. I think to
they could have put that in the recap. That would have helped us a little bit. Maybe
it wasn't that. It was just I don't know if I was paying attention enough, or they just didn't tell us right enough to be like, okay, I get it because I've watched the episodes. But you didn't tell what really the part you didn't tell was the switch. What made him think of that again, and there wasn't that scene that says that reminded him one more time that he's a good guy, and he reminds him of his brother. He didn't bring him a sandwich or give him a stick of gum or something and just be like, "Yeah, you always there for me."
Yeah, Huey looked at the pizza rolls at the beginning, and that's why he kind of had a switch. There was no thing of
that was it for Huey
at the very beginning of the thing. He looked at the pizza rolls because I remember all you guys said "fuck yes, pizza rolls,"
so
not knowing it was going to play in.
Is there something about the pizza rolls? Is that something about the pizza rolls?
The pizza rolls were a key thing for Huey personally, about him and his dad. I don't think it's
but I was saying I was agreeing with you saying that Huey had that, but as an example of something.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. And I think Butcher made up his mind after he got off the phone with Annie in the last episode. It was just like a bait and switch when he was smiling, saying we got to go to the office to get more V. Exactly, and I feel like it just wasn't done.
He was just hiding it. He didn't want to outwardly say, "I'm not giving you more V. It's going to kill you," because he thinks it would have made Huey maybe change his mind or change his.
Yeah, it definitely was scared Huey, and he may have run away
to Annie.
That makes sense. He was hiding it from Huey because
to protect him,
right? Because he's not going to kill Huey, and as soon as he finds out that it's going to kill him, he doesn't do it. He was plenty willing to have his help, right?
Speaking of the fucking temp V, Butcher at the end, his brain starts leaking out his nose, the green goop, right? And he wakes up in the hospital. Presumably, I guess the boys took him there, and the doctors tell him he's got a year, maybe a year and a half tops. And fucking great scene. He's like, "All right, then kindly fuck off," and he lights up a cigarette sitting in his hospital bed, and he doesn't tell anybody that. He just shows back up at the office in the Flatiron building.
No one respects him. He shows up to the office, and almost everyone hates him.
Yeah, well, I don't know if they necessarily hate him, but it's more like we're not going to let him run the place like a dictator. It's going to be a democracy now. And I'm wondering if Butcher is going to tell them, or if they're going to find out on their own. Because, Huey and Starlight especially know that Butcher is not long for this world, because they know how many times he's dosed, and they know what the fatal limit is. And I'm wondering if the next season is going to be on a clock, and they have to do everything quickly before Butcher kicks the bucket, or inevitably takes permanent V to cure himself, which I thought it would happen this episode.
I thought so too.
Yeah, because I don't believe for a second that Starlight only stole one vial of V to help Kimiko, and even if she did, there was plenty left in that vial after Frenchie dosed Kimiko. So they definitely have more permanent V in their possession.
And they don't apparently guard that shit.
Apparently.
My biggest question of the whole series, I have one question.
Just one?
Just one.
Okay.
Literally.
Lay it out.
Why would Frenchie not take V? He does all drugs, all of them, consecutive, like in a mix in this. Why would Frenchie never fuck with V?
Because it's just the morals of the boys with Frenchie, Kimiko. Like
it's their glue. It's which is why this whole thing has been the 24-hour V has been such an issue. Is that like it's they also mentioned that in the themes too. It's a cheat. Right?
Yeah,
like
if it just got him high, he would love it. But it's
yeah,
because it makes him a
he
suit.
does it to escape, not to work. Well, I guess he does do it to work. No, it's not true. He does do it to work.
Yeah.
But his work is kind of escapist in and of itself. I don't know.
Well, the work of the boys is that the Soup's the bad guys. We got to take them down, and by becoming them, it's not
he
morally
wants to
good.
do it through his wits, through his like he. I
he doesn't want to stoop to their level.
It's just the dividing line between the two. Yeah. They see it as like a red line in the sand, whereas Huey was a fucking fan, and Butcher will do like you know what I mean.
Butcher will do anything.
Butcher's always dreamed.
He doesn't really have morals.
Roll call. Who would do V? Thumbs up, thumbs down.
I'd try to.
I would definitely try it.
Yeah,
not gonna lie.
I mean,
like, the 24-hour to fight. Like, here's the thing: if you get an awesome one, the 24-hour V is a great thing to be like, here's what I get. Give me the real shit.
Yeah,
exactly. It's a
us on the podcast,
or,
we get
here's
like
what
super
I get.
farts.
Fuck this shit. Like,
Trey, what would you? Because you're in general life, you don't do drugs.
Mm-hmm. I do nothing. I don't even have
Not
sex.
even yourself.
He doesn't even Tylenol. Not even Tylenol. He's fucking
tough. And also, I don't think vaccines work now.
Jesus Christ.
No, no, but I mean,
Jesus.
I feel like in a world like The Boys, knowing it's like The Boys, probably not. I think that in a world where I'm like, in the world that people live in before they know it's The Boys, I'll be like, yeah.
Wait. So that's what we're saying. You live in this world.
In this world, yeah.
And there is a compound V, and you take. It wouldn't be like, oh, now you live in the vault world. Like, no, it's probably that, but whatever. It's the same rules that apply there, like in terms of like how it works, mutagen wise. Would you take?
Yeah, I my problem is I feel like
I have it.
Oh, okay. In that case, yeah.
Psych.
Fuck. Is that why your beard is always perfect? Is that your superpower? Did you get a really fucking lame one?
It's just a beard. He's my beard.
Jesus Christ.
So listen, no, so if you take temporary V, could you explode?
I mean, if that's your power.
No, it melts your brain though.
No, but is everyone okay with the first dose?
Yeah, you said 3 to 5 doses is
lethal.
Fatal.
Oh, then I would.
They managed to.
absolutely
You would do
take the
2
first-
immediately.
Yeah,
I mean, Huey's fine.
In the
he's
comics,
weak as shit.
I
So-
believe in the comics they dive into this, or I might be confusing the comics with the TV show, but they the Diabolical show. But they worked out the temporary V to the point where it was like powers for a limited time, but if you do too much, it'll kill you. But like they worked out the kinks of like accidental deaths before.
They also only had like general super strength and durability. Right?
Yeah,
if
yeah.
I'm not mistaken,
I
they were all just
believe
tough.
so.
They were all just tough. They didn't have. I don't even think they had eye beams or anything. Like they just
they could
were
take
tough.
a punch from Homelander without dying.
Yeah, it was literally just that, and I think that was like supposed to be like a side effect of it not being a permanent thing.
Oh.
You would just get like the base level thing.
Yeah,
so they could fucking have some insurance when they took over.
I think that's how Temp V worked in the comics.
I think they killed Payback or no, the teen team.
Yeah, but I remember in the comics they all
literally
took
their name.
permanent V. It wasn't Temp when the boys took it. But I think Temp V was a thing. I don't remember exactly because I don't think any of us.
I don't think it was permanent, was it?
Yeah, Temp V. I
They
don't.
took it pretty early on, and I thought it was like we just do this for the day to do the thing.
Again, I
think
don't think any of us
It
read the
doesn't.
comics. I know Trey and I didn't read the comics because they
I
are
can't
just disgusting.
I know D did because he sent it away to get
Personalized. He got his name embossed on it in gold.
all of them.
Yep.
Because he actually bought it when it first came out. Like No one did.
So, who is excited for the next season where Newman's the big bad and Ryan's turning into a little bastard with his dad?
Newman was a big
Newman.
piss of nothing this year, and then we're at the same point she was last year. That was dumb.
No,
She's in a
I
position
think
of-
she made the no. I completely disagree. I think she played the long ball, long game, long.
She's going to be
whatever.
president.
And she's vice president with an old white dude. Fuck you.
She can pop his head instantly. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I totally disagree.
She's going to be president.
What I mean is, narratively, she is no different. She's ending the same way, being revealed to be on the side of the villains
get what that point
and
is.
maneuvering herself further into the. She was this senator. She's the head of this. She's that. But she's also the killer. She's like, it's the same thing. There was no real move. The only thing that was revealed was that she's. It was, her backstory with the thing. I'm not saying it's not a storyline. I'm saying that there's no real movement. We knew the beginning of this season that she's a plant for Vought, and that she has a secret power, and she's moving up in government. It's the same where
Thinking
she
about
is
it,
now.
now that you've
She's
said it out loud,
closer to the presidency, but what the fuck does that mean?
Exactly. I completely agree. The boys don't seem to give a shit about the American government or the hierarchy at all, especially since they work for the CIA.
It's just more of a political. It's obviously a little bit of movement. Don't get me wrong. It's like fine.
Yeah.
I don't see her as any more distinctly of a threat, though. Obviously, if she becomes president, she's going to have this will to power. That's going to be interesting. It's just not a lot of movement, and it's like it wasn't a. It was to reveal her as the head popper last season was a huge thing.
Address
to do this is not having that. It didn't have that weight when I heard it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
it's obviously a new situation, but it didn't have the weight because I already know about
I know
it.
you're outraged, but hang on. So you view it differently because you are looking at this as an American citizen. The presidency is a big fucking deal. In the world of the boys, the American government doesn't mean shit. Nobody cares about the American government at all. It's all about Vought and about the boys.
She was able to get Homelander to kill the.
She was, because she offered him the location of his son. She lost her only bargaining chip against Homelander. She has nothing to offer him now. Unless they create something in the next season.
She is a female person of color, and if they touch her, it will cause outrage. So
probably, and she gave herself a nice shield that way, but she doesn't have a bargaining chip to offer Homelander to make him do anything for her.
I understand making.
And then
I'm saying America, like you're not gonna.
The American government has never meant shit in the world of the boys. Nobody gives a shit about the entire ladder. Because fucking you have Grace Mallory in the CIA doing whatever she wants, and she's literally nobody on the chain of command. But she does whatever she wants, and the boys look up to her. She's the person of power. What's up?
Where was she shown to be at the end of this? They showed her in a role.
At the end of this episode, she was overseeing Soldier Boy getting locked into a vacuum tube.
Because for a second, I thought that they had thrown her somehow into Vought or something, but it was no. And that was the other tragic thing because, again, don't know how he I understand he doesn't blow up when he blows up, but I don't understand Maeve not do this. I get her being depowered, but I guess.
I mean, if you're behind him, maybe the blast, the radiation hits you, but not the actual blast.
Was she behind him?
I think she was grabbing him by the stomach. I thought
because he shoots it forward, right?
He shoots it forward. So I'm saying
into her.
They were also falling from a building.
She obviously got blasted by the thing because she lost her powers.
She lost her powers.
She should be dead and vaporized. It doesn't make a lot of sense because you can't lose your powers and
survive the fall.
It's
unless she landed on Soldier Boy.
Who knows how it happened? I thought that was weird.
A really, really fluffy mattress.
But
there was a weird pile of feathers in a wheelbarrow, just parked out there.
An anvil was right next to it. It could have gone way worse.
And everything there was a coyote running around. It was so fucking weird, man.
Saved by kitty litter.
Again,
she fell on the birds of Noir.
Yeah, sure.
She fell in his intestine.
I completely acknowledge how weird it is that Maeve is still alive, but I feel like that's one of the things.
My point being that, what?
Yeah, the Kripke has taken a lot of divergences from the comics, and where the comics would have gladly killed Maeve off, I think Kripke's trying to be a little less murdery.
I think he tried to have a happier ending to something, but it was odd that Black Noir is the only death. Especially because I'm I don't also believe that. So the only death that happened is one I'm not even confident happened.
In the season, yeah, but not this episode.
That's an individual character that came in. I like that they kept Soldier Boy alive and not there. Stormfront did die this season, I guess. I thought she died last season, kind of thing. I don't know. Whatever.
A lot of people in the subreddit don't think she's dead.
Holdover.
So that's the other thing is maybe she's not. No, that's the other thing.
I don't believe
you
that.
didn't really see her. They just showed you the blood stain and they said that she did in the thing. That's classic.
That's because the people that Jeff was talking about at the beginning of this episode
that is classic,
still want to bang
Mr.
Stormfront.
No show this episode.
Yep. Edgar.
That's classic. Edgar took her for more experiments. She's going to make more Yada yada yada. Like,
Yep.
absolutely.
Also, is it unclear? Did Homelander ever harvest Maeve's eggs before they made Maeve leave the tower at the beginning of this episode?
That usually takes a while, just from a medical standpoint.
Maeve is a
But
superhero.
why wouldn't
From
he
a
have-
medical standpoint,
Why
means
wouldn't he
nothing.
have harvested Stormfront's eggs?
No, so Homelander wanted to harvest Maeve's eggs to fertilize them and make like superhuman.
fair point. Why wouldn't
things.
he take Stormfront's egg?
Stormfront was.
I mean, he could have.
useless. This is what I didn't understand about Stormfront is that like if she was still alive, they could do stuff with her.
They could, and who knows?
And that's
Maybe
hot
she's alive.
because she just has the one hand.
You're saying everything that the people on the subreddit are saying, and I disagree with all of it. I really think she's dead because I feel like there's only so much Nazi you can have before it becomes just like.
But do we
beating a
know
dead
the
horse.
Translucent's
agree
dead?
with Jeff.
Yeah, Stormfront's gone. There's no fucking way.
But
She's
there's
gone.
still Ryan, and he seems pretty Nazi-ish.
Ryan, not Nazi-ish, certainly becoming sort of a bad guy because,
Yeah,
Homelander...
he's getting radicalized. He's going down the pipeline.
He is. Homelander stretched out his arms and took him in and was like, I love you unconditionally no matter what you do. Accidents happen. You didn't mean to kill your mother. I love you. And that's all he wanted to hear from Butcher.
And this is where it got interesting for me is that, like, so much stuff that Soldier Boy said was right. Like, I was really, in many ways, on it, agreeing with him. And I need to revisit the whole thing because I'm just like, he goes in and says, like, it's for the wrong reason, arguably, but the same. It's for the wrong sentiment, but the similar reason. Like, it's that there's no saving you. You're a fuck up. He reads right through him, and to say that, like, oh no, you can say that to your son all you want and mean it. And then as soon as shit goes down, just fuck him over because you're fucked. You don't know how to really think of that. You're saying that to him because you wanted someone to say it to you. It's all about you. Like, and granted, that is a good motivator for a normal person, but not someone who is just like infinitely self-righteous. Like, I don't think he'll sacrifice himself for Ryan.
Absolutely not.
Here's the thing. I think Homelander is the more morally pure person than Homelander. And
Then who?
I mean, Homelander is morally more pure than Soldier Boy. I'm getting the two confused a lot.
He's more morally pure than Butcher. That's the other issue, is he's too stupid to understand himself.
I understand. Yeah, there's no nuance. There's no nuance with Homelander, right?
Right.
So that's what we're... Yeah.
Well, in Homelander's eyes, he doesn't have the nuance.
No, not at all. And
The show has plenty of nuance. With him.
Oh God, it's
I don't know what you're talking
it's
about.
just nuance. They've copyrighted it. I think that might be a copyright.
No one's allowed to have
Anthony
nuance
Starr's
anymore.
face is a nuance.
Oh my God, yeah.
How is he not? I don't know what it is. Is
This
it
could
an
be a
Emmy?
silent film.
It would be an Emmy, and he has not won it yet. I think The Boys got nominated last year, but they didn't win.
If
It's-
Anthony Starr played every single character, it could be a silent show.
Honestly, he's
Yeah.
the best actor of our time. If I'm going to put it out.
That's that's a hell of a statement. I don't know that I disagree, but that's a very large
I'm
statement.
going to be really honest. This whole show lies on his smile.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna let you
lies.
finish, but Anthony Starr is the greatest actor of all time. Thank you, mic
Applause.
drop.
Okay, I think if his smile was any more nuanced, the whole show lies on it. The whole show works because Homelander smirks.
Which one was your favorite? The one at the end?
Which smirk? Oh,
Which
God,
smirk was your
his face,
favorite?
he's
Which
so-
Dude.
which one that he had this episode?
Guys-
Because you liked it when he was like genuinely happy, like, because that's when he gets like an upper hand.
Yeah, I do. I also think when he bleeds, the face he gives when he bleeds is amazing, right?
Yeah.
So every facial expression that he makes is something.
Yeah, I feel like we could start like a comedy Twitter account just ranking Anthony Starr's smirks as Homelander.
I'm
And all of
literally
his faces.
serious that I think there's few people that grab me like that in all of Hollywood, and he sells every scene he's in.
It's just him and Keanu for me.
One of my big...
No, not even sexually. Like I'm not.
No,
I'm not into him.
He's just
no.
a captivating man.
No, I agree. He kills it. I think he's less of a superb actor, and he's just perfect for this role. He's a talented actor, highly talented actor, and he's just fucking nailing this role. And some people do that. I think it's yet to be proven if he can do distinctively different and range of that when he's playing different types of characters. And I think that's the better testament to that. But as far as engaging goes, absolutely, he's probably the most magnetic actor that I'm watching in any given show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, show me another actor that's just like compelling you like that.
What about Jared Leto, huh?
So,
ooh, good point, Troy.
Here's something. Here is my counterpoint, and I don't. So I'm gonna. Giancarlo Esposito is absolutely enthralling in every role he does. However, my only complaint I really have with him is that it's always the same character.
Well, he's a character actor, yeah.
And but
he's compelling.
He's
but
really,
not.
really good at playing the calm, level-headed bad guy. But that's all he ever seems to play.
They rate a character, then they call him up, and if they don't get him, they rewrite the whole character.
Yeah, that he's a different animal because they're doing
Breaking Bad was the same way. Far Cry 6.
Would you say the same thing? Now, I can't remember his name at the moment, but he's Christopher. No, Jeffrey Wright. He did the voice of the Watcher, and he was on Westworld.
Yes,
right?
he was.
And
same role, kinda.
No. I'm wondering, and he played a detective. What's his face?
You know what? I should retract that statement because I've only ever watched the first season of Westworld.
Gordon, fine, you saw plenty. Gordon, right?
Yeah.
So he's played those roles. Similar character mannerism. Is he a Esposito?
Good point.
Or is he a more engaging actor? Like he's an engaging actor.
Yeah.
But and he does present a lot on his face. Like I think he does. So does Esposito presents nothing on his face. That's his whole thing.
That's his whole shtick. Yeah.
So it is a little more stoic, and I don't think he shows a lot, but he can. He when he needs to. But the whole thing is that you just see a little bit of movement. You're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, but I think the entire series of The Boys lands on Homelander.
Of course it does. Homelander 100%. Is the main antagonist. He's the second star.
Lands on Homelander?
It lands. No, but I'm serious. He's carrying this entire season.
Homelander.
Honestly, Butcher is the most. To me, is my least favorite character, and everyone's going to hate me for that. I'm not trying to be hated.
Diabolical.
I mean, you don't have to like him to understand that he's like pivotal to the show. Like the Boys formed around Butcher. He started the Resistance. He recruited the others. So like,
do I have a
the
least
whole
favorite character?
The whole show.
Oh, I may agree with her on this. The Butcher is
he's unlikable.
Butcher is nice. Butcher is cool. Butcher. Butcher is sometimes a bitcher. No, Butcher is I love it when he fucks shit up on people who deserve it. Right? You want there's no better asshole to have in your corner when you need an asshole.
Sure.
Like so, those moments all work for me. Like just in the show, I could see that every time. Like I could see him laugh when he takes the punch and see him grin at Homelander. I could see that all day, right? There's nobody I want in that moment. But as far as like so much of his central storyline, like I did not like Rebecca. I didn't like this storyline at all. Like I don't care about him because as far as I'm concerned, he's a blunt instrument.
Yeah.
Like and so like his personal stuff. I do like how the Huey stuff. Like I do like his connection with Huey. That's fine. I don't care as much about his fatherly shit, although it's connected to Huey. But in the end, what I see him as like a slightly more compelling Buffy from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. To always bring it back on point to Buffy is that like I didn't like her as a character at all. Like, but everything centralized around him, and none of my and some of the characters around her were some of my favorite characters of all time, and her storyline gives a plot for those characters, so it was fine.
He's a means to an end, is what you're saying.
Right.
But I like, and I get that. He's so one dimensional to me, consistently that Starlight had a better story arc. All of them had a better story arc this season than him. And I'm fairly tired. I liked Frenchie's story arc way better. And you're
not alone. A lot of people don't like Butcher. I mean, that's kind of his whole thing. People love Carl Urban. They love his acting. They don't like Butcher.
I think I agree with you. The difference is that, like, you know what? Buffy's a good example. He's somewhere in between. Like, I don't dislike him as much as I dislike Buffy, but I don't like him as much as I liked Mal from Firefly. Like, I liked Mal from Firefly. And he's a more nuanced version of him, right?
Mm-hmm.
I see what you're saying, but like, fuck you! Don't compare Mal to people like that.
Jesus Christ! I didn't realize we were treading on fucking sacred ground here.
Jesus.
No, but Carl Urban is doing an amazing job playing a very unlikable asshole,
Carl
and that's
Urban
kind of
is
his
doing
whole.
the same thing for 4 seasons.
This is the issue.
My issue is that there's no
He's not. He's like he is being outclassed. He kills the role, right? Like he does this, but it is one thing. This is the issue with the character of Butcher. That is what he is. He's supposed to be single-minded. He's supposed to be just the fucky
Scorched
And you're
earth.
right. And you're right. Like that gets old after a while.
Sure.
And this is like I think the hardest. I think the craziest thing. The character in the comics is probably more complicated.
Yeah.
Because, Rebecca was dead from the beginning. Mm-hmm. He does via earlier on, and he, fucks like crazy, in the thing. He, is always,
I believe
he's a more interesting kind of cat.
In the years after The Boys concluded, it was, I want to say 5 or 6 years after the last issue wrapped up, Garth Ennis wrote an epilogue comic called Garth Ennis? Oh, I thought it was Ennis. Garth Ennis. He wrote an epilogue, and it was called Dear Becca. And it was written from Butcher's perspective, writing to Becca, explaining everything and about how much he loves her and misses her and all this stuff. And it gave depth to that character. I'm interested to see where Kripke goes with Butcher because he seems like a one-trick pony so far, and I want him to be more than that because I really want to love Butcher. And I just don't yet.
I don't know that you can, and I don't know that it works that way.
Maybe that's his whole point is to be bad.
And this is
So
where I
everyone
say,
else can be good.
bask in the characters around this character.
Exactly.
That this character centralizes because he does his singular motivation pushes the plot continuously forward and allows these characters around him to evolve. He is the central point that they all follow. And that's his job. So if he's at all entertaining, awesome. If it's monotonous, it's because no one's doing any of this shit if he's not being a fucking psychopath to kill these soups.
I'm gonna make a comparison, and I want you to agree with me or disagree. Butcher
Wrong.
is Batman.
No,
everyone around him is Nightwing, Batgirl, Robin.
No one cares, and no, he's
Fuck
not
you.
that.
No one cares.
Shut up! I'm making a point.
It's not that. Yeah, it's that soundbite. I don't agree. And I think every man wants to be him, and every female is tired of him.
Nobody wants to be Butcher that I know.
No, you just said he's like Batman, right?
Yeah.
In that, you don't
No, I agree 100% with what she's saying. Is that I am literally the mystique of Batman is gone for me. It's gone.
It doesn't exist in America anymore or life.
There's he is such. And this is going to be the toughest thing for you to ever accept, unless they change some inherent heart to Batman. But his story fucking sucks. He's a little revenge baby. He may be closer to Homelander, but he's a revenge baby. Right? It's just I am sad about this, and I will do this. The detective stuff always is just Sherlock Holmes, and if they lean into that element of it as I think. Batman's a infinitely more interesting character and this is where I say they need to retire Bruce Wayne or elevate him to the Batman Beyond version. Bruce Wayne needs to be Batman Beyond Bruce Wayne now in the comics in presentations. I will see that Bruce Wayne one that's reflecting on his life, one that's looking back and saying, fuck.
Just wait 6 months.
I
DC
wanna
will
do this
reboot
better.
the universe. They'll rebrand it.
And that'll be fine.
Well,
and
it's
if you
gonna
have
be hard for them lately.
I am totally fucking ready for what's his name, Batman Beyond.
Terry
McGinnis.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fucking amazing character. It's they got a little bit of Bruce Wayne and a little bit of Peter Parker.
It's how people want Peter to retire and they want Miles Morales to be the new Spider-Man.
100%. I am so ready for these things. Do that, and that reignites some Batman lore because the Batman story that I just fucking saw, that you fucking love, I know so much, is
not just me. Critics loved it.
I know. Though it is.
No, that was silly.
It is. You know what? You know what else critics really loved? Avatar. They loved Avatar. There's going to have 4 sequels soon, and maybe we'll see that it'll just stand the test of time. But you know what Avatar means to me right now? Nothing.
Did you see the? Did you?
I
I don't want to cut
Avatar.
you off. Did you see the thing that James Cameron came out recently, and he was just
He's I love water.
He did say a lot of that, but he was talking about the new sequels and
He would
people
fuck the
talking about
Mariana
it.
Trench if he could.
Yeah, I think he did.
I think he did too.
He went in it. He
but
may have rubbed his dick in
I
it.
guess
He
that
definitely rubbed
there's
his
no
dick a
way
little
he
bit.
didn't rub his dick in it.
If you were down in the Mariana Trench, even if you weren't fucking as turned on about water as he is, you'd probably jack it.
Is he from LA? What's the deal?
No, he actually went down into like he's like
Oh, the deep. He went into.
He went into the Marianas
wait,
Trench.
wait.
James Cameron went down there and fucked the deep.
Where the Titanic was and that octopus or
That's-
squid.
No, I think he went down to the Marianas
Oh,
Trench.
fucking the whole ocean. He's a fucking Rick.
I actually do remember.
He's like Rick Sanchez.
Oh my
So
god.
he went as deep as the like when they
Yeah,
were
he's
filming the
like-
Titanic. Like they went that deep.
I don't know if it was for the Titanic or if it was just a personal thing he did. I'm
But
pretty
he
sure it
went
was
as
just
far,
him.
like 2 miles deep to the.
Oh, personal thing he did.
Personal, yeah, I know James Cameron like built a submarine or had it built, and he just went down to the Marianas Trench, and I'm pretty sure it was just for fun.
This
Like, it was just a thing
this
he
isn't
did.
what I was trying to get at. But
be silly.
the,
South Park poked fun at him for like an entire episode. It was awesome.
No, that's fine. Listen, guys, I think where this ends is I think this season was dope. All right, number one.
Yep.
I think this season really gave us what we wanted, also what we didn't know we wanted. And I'm gonna miss the cartoons. If the cartoons are done, I'm gonna miss.
They're
them.
not. No, Diabolical's coming back.
no, she's talking about
Oh,
the, noir
the cartoon
cartoons,
birds.
which I think
Those are done.
gone.
Noir's dead. The cartoons are done.
Okay.
I don't know. It is.
I will
I don't
bet
know
you
if there's any better
he's-
send off.
he's with Christ the Lord.
Christ the Lord. Christ the Lord. Is that what he says?
Yeah.
Christ the Lord. So
You'll
I
be in the
love
warm
that.
embrace
That
of
is one of my favorite. that is-
Christ the
that is-
Lord.
You know why I love that so much? I'm going to explain it to you, true believers. It is so good because it is such a subtle. Like none of those bros, those proud boys that watch the show get this joke because they're not functionally able. They're mud people.
Are you saying?
But the thing is that
Meeple.
these people, this guy. Now I'm losing my train of thought. I was talking about
The mud people.
no.
You're saying that they don't understand
Christ
this
the Lord.
joke because
Oh, they don't understand because the joke is like he's certifiably cartoons bunny scene insane, and on the surface level, it's like soon you'll be with Christ the Lord, like you're going to a good place, and it's like, oh yeah, that's the thing a crazy person would say to themselves.
it's also
It's like I love that burn to be like, no, you're a fucking idiot to believe in things just as he is crazy thinking of these imaginary things is no different than your imaginary Lord that's
My-
going to take you
my-
away.
my favorite
I'm sorry,
thing-
let's just peel that Band-Aid right off, okay, everybody?
my favorite thing about that is the fact that like never in any of the 3 seasons has like Noir been in the same room as a cross. Like he's not like,
Oh, it's so
outwardly
good. No,
religious.
it's just random
Yeah,
nonsense.
he's never had a religious scene. So what? So where is
Yeah,
that
it wasn't
coming
like
from?
Starlight's mom.
Oh no, it's just everybody's default. It's
Yeah.
just stupid idiots who are with childlike like stabbed in the brain raw like brains think. And that's what
this
Kripke
is-
said, and it's a severe burn that 90% of the audience won't even like fathom. They'll just be like, "Oh, it's just a thing he said at the end." They won't even think that that's hilarious.
How old was Noir? I didn't.
No, none of the soups are really known
Okay,
except
but
for
Noir was
the
the
old
one
ones.
that also kind of didn't age, correct? Even though he was deformed.
Yeah, I mean he was in like his
Healing factor, baby.
he was like he was like a younger kind of like young adult
Yeah, I'm trying to get the idea
but
of
he
like.
regressed a little.
As far as I know, it's impossible. Just because like some soups just age differently, some of them do not, and they haven't really laid out, even in the comics, how it all works.
Because Homelander looked older than Homelander looks so old, like he's in his 40s now, and he was looking at Noir saying, "You knew when I was a baby,"
Yeah,
and that was 40 years ago.
Noir
And
also wears a
Noir
mask.
Was still fit. Mm-hmm. So it seemed as though Noir didn't age because he still had a youthful body.
Seems pretty standard. It's pretty standard comics that like Supermen like don't age the way we do.
Right. So how?
I'm not concerned about it at all.
You
It's
weren't-
it's kind of a non-issue for me.
I'm surprised they did any religious thing with Noir to pull it because Homelander has so much religious zealot.
Well,
I'm-
that's
has
what I'm saying.
followers.
I feel like it's funnier that they did it with Noir, where it's just like some guy who has never once
A cartoon told him.
Yeah,
I don't
and
think Homelander believes in God because in the episode where Stormfront dies, he says there is no God in the sky. It's only me.
There's also this. I'm wondering. We had a powered up Butcher this season. Do we get a depowered Homelander at any given point?
I have a feeling that's where we're going to end up with Homelander at the eventual arc or ending of his story.
He'll be depowered, and like it'll be a decision whether Butcher will still kill him.
Exactly.
It'll be
now that the
something like
power
that.
is gone, and it's not
It's just this broken man.
exactly.
Because Homelander totally passed up by fighting Soldier Boy. He totally passed up his ability to kill him.
Right, and
That was a very. I think it was human. The whole end scenes of the fights were human.
So you would get to a point where they're both depowered.
No, I understand that, but I'm saying that I loved the realistic aspect of the fight scenes. Right, they were all fighting each other or their own self. Right, and the fact that Butcher had an actual in to kill Homelander. Like, Soldier Boy did not fucking accept it. He did not. He became his dad, and he didn't accept it. And Maeve was all in. Like, they had it. They fucking
I literally
had
don't
it.
know where you're going with this, but okay.
No, that even Butcher couldn't go out without himself to kill Homelander because he was so worried about the kid, but about Ryan.
Yeah.
Butcher's not irredeemable. He's got something.
So
in
yeah.
him.
So
Is
there's
that
that's his.
irredeemable or
That's
silly? Because I'm
that's
not...
his. That's the arc. That's what she's saying. And she's saying it's a little silly for him to do this when like Maeve was ready to go, and then Maeve gets a heroic arc by doing this because she decides in the end that Homelander's the revenge on Homelander is not enough to risk everybody. It was enough to risk her, and that's where I think Butcher is too. Except he's not willing to risk the kid, and she was like, "Fuck it," she didn't care. So that makes her a little less heroic. But in the end, she chooses like.
Yeah.
But then it's like it is an issue of like, well, that was just because the body count got too high. Like so. It does take a little bit away, but they're not presenting it that way. But it is true.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like this end arc of the season is that it's ending on Maeve, taking Soldier Boy out and putting him back in the.
She was with Soldier Boy till that point.
Yeah, exactly. I think we're the end of the season is putting Soldier Boy back into the what do they call it, container?
He said he's not going back in the box,
In the
but
box.
he's in a vacuum tube of some sort. And if Mallory was overseeing it, then that means the government has him.
Right, and so,
So-
wild, right? Because
As long as Vought doesn't have him, because who gives a shit?
I understand. So Maeve made the decision to save her friends. Butcher could have. Is Ryan really worth it? I don't know.
He said it. He made a promise.
He made a promise to Becca that he would
He
take
made
care
a
of
promise
Ryan.
to Becca, so that's what he's doing.
That's so dumb.
It's dumb, but it's also like
Realistic, right? It's fucking.
It's
the
realistic.
The human entity of this is amazing.
but this is the part I like because, and this is the part where Homelander is the villain, is like that principle, that line that they talked about in this whole season is clear with the hero of the protagonist of it. There's a
It's clear
line
with Homelander too. He didn't kill Maeve. He could have.
No,
He
no.
was fighting her. He wasn't.
He
actually
didn't.
fighting her.
Yeah, but him. It's more complicated. He's willing to do all those things. He doesn't want to. It's a different. But when it comes down to it, he will kill all of you. He will kill the boy. He'll kill everybody.
Will he?
Yeah.
He had the chance. He had the chance, and his
He
dad.
he
forsake
doesn't.
him,
Yeah,
and he
but the
didn't.
Who
chance
knows?
is it the same thing as the want or need to? He doesn't need to kill them. He doesn't want to kill them. He wants to be loved, and that's his weakness, right? Like that's his thing. So it's a whole thing where and now what was interesting is that like the kid is the thing, like losing him and his adoration of him, which he's growing, is the thing, and that's going to be, I think, the plot point of next season to some point is that like this kid is being groomed.
Ryan is certainly going to be a big part of the next season.
Is he the Malia's kid? Like Hunter, what's his name?
What?
I don't know what
Trump's
you're
kid.
Oh,
the little one.
I don't know.
Byron
Byron.
or Baron.
Baron.
Who knows?
Is that?
I don't see that at all, but it could be.
I see it in the sense that like he's this innocent in the mix of this that's clearly being raised in like with all the groomings and all the power, but like
Maybe.
he doesn't know what he's in, and it's like you can't blame the kid, but at the same time it's like, oh fuck, if you follow this route you're gonna be just as fucked up. Like, or at least I don't know if they're pushing that like connection because I do see a lot of they casted a new kid for this season to like I'm like he does have a slight similarity to it. I mean, like I do think there's something there to that.
I mean, I think the way that they're going to go with it is they're going to, especially with everything kind of before a bunch of Supreme Court decisions, like the focus was really on like, oh, these people are groomers, and it was like teachers teaching kids that like gay people exist. And I think that there's going to be a lot of like, here's this kid, and they're like, yeah, look at the horrible stuff he's showing them, and it's like the stuff that isn't what Homelander's showing them. I don't know. I don't know how I'm explaining this right.
I think I understand what you're
going. They're going to do like they're going to try to explain to right-wing people what fucking grooming means because they don't know.
Oh, maybe yeah. Well, it has a lot of features in this.
I guess we'll find out in the next season.
Yeah. Well, guys, this was a finale. Do we have anything else to say about this show season episode?
God, I hope not.
Because I wanted to talk about the metaphysics of the reality that exists in The Boys.
Oh, shit.
And if I could start...
You know what? We don't have
to...
time for that. Thank you very much. Yeah, pretty much. That was it for the finale of Season 3 of The Boys.
You're welcome, everybody.
You are welcome for all of this, whatever it was.
Send your donations. We really need to set up something that pays us.
Cash only.
Yeah, cash us at.
Yeah. I'll drop my Cash App in the comments.
Buy our NFTs that we have.
You know, Wawa's doing NFTs now.
Everybody,
No.
all companies,
We're
every
not-
company.
not
we
on it.
got to get out of here.
Yeah, I gotta
talk about
fucking.
NFTs.
I gotta wake up in like 4 hours for work. All right, that was it for the finale. Thank you all for being here. If you guys liked what you heard, please leave us a kind review on your favorite podcasting platform. Give us 5 stars, like us, subscribe to us, all that fun shit, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.
Although,
No, all those.
TB&J.
No, it's too good. No,
What?
NFT B&J. So like Wawa has those cartoon characters for Hoagie Fest. They're turning them into NFTs that you can buy. They announced this like last week.
And NFTs are doing
man.
great too.
NFTs are not what I want.
No, and they announced it at a perfect time, right when the NFT market is fucking collapsing in on itself.
I hate things I do not understand.
One more time with people in the back.
I hate things I do not understand.
Aw.